Cześć Wam, chciałem Wam tutaj pokazać reportaż i wywiad z pracownikiem Urzędu Migracyjnego. W sumie nie jest oficjalnym pracownikiem Urzędu Migracyjnego, tylko Urząd Migracyjny szuka podwykonawców i zatrudniła jedną z firm, takich subkontraktorów. Akurat w tym wypadku ta firma i wywiad z tym gościem, co zaraz zobaczymy, którym przeprowadza Clayton Morris, to zajmuje się przewożeniem właśnie dzieci z punktu A do punktu B. Ośrodek znajduje się w Teksasie. Jest to pawilon Walmartu, czyli taki sklep, jakby powiedzieć, spożywczy, chemia, spożywka, coś odpowiednik może Oceana, coś w tym stylu. Posłuchajmy, co mówi.
Well, the United States is the largest trafficker of children in the world. Children that are illegally kidnapped, brought across the US-Mexico border, are then sold off to mostly wealthy Americans, used as sex slaves, and worse, if you can imagine, worse than that. It's happening, and the corporate media, of course, is largely ignoring the story for whatever reason. They refuse to touch the story, and when they do, they briefly touch it, and then it disappears. You can't find links on their website. It vanishes very mysteriously when they cover these stories. Many of these kids, these children, are kept in hidden concentration camps in the United States. Yes, I said it. Hidden concentration camps in the United States. We showed you one of these facilities.
Słyszeliście, jak to nazwał? Jeden z obiektów, concentration camp, obozy koncentracyjne dla dzieci. Słuchajmy dalej.
A few months ago here on Redacted, a Walmart facility, a former Walmart facility in Brownsville, Texas, that is holding hundreds, if not thousands of children before they are sold off. A whistleblower who worked at one of these facilities, MVM is the name of the facility, has come forward to expose all of this. Carlos Arellano is a former U.S. immigration contractor, and he joins us now. Carlos, welcome to the show, and thank you for coming forward to share your story.
Czyli Carlos jest pracownikiem Urzędu Migracyjnego.
No, thank you for having me. It's like you said, when it comes to child trafficking, there's so much evil behind it that people don't want to touch the story, and if they do touch it, they touch it briefly. And it just goes to show you how much evil there is behind it, that it holds that much power over people, that it's kept in the dark.
And hopefully we can expose this story. We can shine a light on it today. So anyone watching this, hopefully you can share this story out, share it with people who can spread it around to try to put an end to this awful, awful crime against humanity that's happening in the United States and around the world. So, Carlos, before we dive into some more specifics of this, can you just give us, our audience, a background as to what exactly you did working as an immigration contractor and this company? Is it a government company relationship as a U.S. government contractor, or was it separate from the U.S. government?
Czyli kontraktor to już wiadomo, że to jest firma zewnętrzna, czyli Immigration posługuje się pieniędzmi podatników, wynajmując firmy zewnętrzne, jakby to powiedzieć, chyba do brudnej roboty.
So the way it works is the U.S. government is washing their hands, keeping their hands clean by going out and handing out massive contracts to organizations that they like to call NGOs, non-government organizations. And these NGOs, they will get...
Czyli NGO, firmy pozarządowe. Słuchajmy dalej.
Contracts for food services, for laundry services, for educational services for the illegal immigrants. Everything under the sun that you can think of, everything that we have to pay for, they will hand out $100 million contracts to give these services for free to the illegal immigrants. And the company that I work for specifically, their job is they hold the largest contract to move children around the United States of America. So my job was to move children from point A to point B. And my job was to pick children up at the border and then move them to their sponsors. I've been to every state that you could name. I've been there. I've been to North Dakota, Vermont, Florida, dropping kids off, all of them.
Czyli z tego co rozumiem, to wydają pieniądze podatników na emigrantów, czyli na żywność, na szkołę, na przewożenie tych dzieci. I nazywają się to ludzie, którzy odbierają te dzieci, sponsorzy. No ale posłuchajmy dalej.
And New York City and Florida, the most popular ones.
So let's get back to the children in the facility. We featured here this former Walmart facility in Brownsville, Texas. You work there, correct?
So my job was, I did work there, but my job was to take kids out of those facilities.
Czyli pracował tam, czyli już nie pracuje. Nie wiem, czy po tym wywiadzie, czy przed tym wywiadem. Czyli to jest Walmart znajdujący się w Teksasie.
And hand them off to sponsors across the country.
So can you walk me through that process? So you're an employee, you get what do you get, an email? Do you get a text message that says, Carlos, on Tuesday, we need you to take these children to their sponsor family in Florida? And how did that process unfold? Can you explain that?
So yes, we would get text messages, we would get phone calls at 7 p.m. at night, 6 p.m. at night, saying, hey, we have a trip out tomorrow. Can you make the trip? I say yes. And later on in the night, I get a report time for the following morning. You get a 5 a.m. report time, 4 a.m. It's always in the dark because they don't want us picking up these kids in the day where people can see us.
Czyli dzień wcześniej dostają informacje, czy mogą przewieźć dzieci i dopiero rano dostają wszystkie papiery i telefon, gdzie z tymi dziećmi mają pojechać. Z tego co rozumiem, co on tutaj właśnie mówi, że jeździ po całych Stanach Zjednoczonych, a najwięcej na Florydę.
And I would get for example, hey, 4 a.m. and I would not find out where I was going until the following day when I would show up to the charter bus. We would get phones given to us, backpacks given to us, and until we got to the shelter, to the Walmart shelters that you broke on your show, we get files saying, hey, you're going to head off to Orlando, Florida, you're going to head off to Los Angeles, you're going to head off to Nashville, Tennessee, and you're dropping off 6 kids, and in those files, you get a hard copy of an ID of the sponsor who's waiting for you at the airport in baggage claim. So the handoff is always in baggage claim at these airports. So the hard copy of the ID is the person you want to wait for, and they're supposed to hand you this physical ID to you in person, and you're not supposed to release the kid until you take a picture of the physical ID with the paper copy ID together on a government phone.
Czyli dopiero rano wie, gdzie ma jechać, do kogo ma jechać, ma dokument tożsamości, czyli przypuśćmy kopię naszego dowodu osobistego, wydrukowaną, i dopiero jak zajedzie na miejsce i goście pokaże dowód osobisty, czyli te ID, i sprawdzi, że to jest ten sam gościu, data urodzenia i tak dalej, zdjęcie się to zgadza, dopiero przekazuje te dzieci temu sponsorowi. Słuchajmy dalej.
And these children, these are illegal immigrant children that are being kept there. Are the parents anywhere around at all?
No parents. No, these are unaccompanied minors. So all the kids you see in the Walmart shelters, no parents are here. No aunts and uncles are with them. They showed up to the border by themselves. So, and it's
with
crazy
coyotes,
because
with coyotes bringing them across. They're right.
Yeah, correct. Because sometimes I would run into kids who tell me, a coyote told me exactly how to get to your shelter, is what they would tell me. They told me how many steps to walk north of here, where to turn. And they told me to, if I run into any Border Patrol agent, to say that I'm a minor, that I'm underage, that I'm going to run into a building, a shelter, a Walmart type of shelter that's going to have food for me, that's going to have laundry services for me. And it would get so suspicious because the kids were being told by the coyote.
Czyli z tego, co on mówi tutaj, ci kajori to są ci przewodnicy, co podrzucają dzieci pod granicę i mówią im, jak się mają kierować. No dobra, no ale kto tu podrzuca te dzieci kojotom? Prawdopodobnie albo jakieś kartele, albo jakieś gangi narkotykowe, które mają z tego profit. No ale słuchajmy dalej, co będzie mu opowiadał. No.
Exactly the way an NGO runs a Walmart shelter. And it gets you thinking, how the hell do coyotes know the system on this side, you know? Because they're supposedly only on the Mexico side and they're not from the US, these coyotes, and they're not government employees. So how do they know what to expect in the shelter? It's insane. And the other insane part is these Walmart shelters also have babies. I've escorted myself. I can personally myself say I picked up a baby that's 5 months old, 8 months old, 4 months old, and escorted them to a sponsor. And how the hell do you realize who a sponsor is for this child when they can't even talk?
So who are, that's awful. The whole thing is awful, but who are these sponsors then? I know some reports are that these are mostly, at least in Florida, from reports I've heard, wealthy Americans who are paying for these children. But first of all, who are these sponsors? Do you when you interact with them, is there a representative for the sponsors that you're meeting face to face, or is it the sponsor his or herself who is meeting you face to face?
The sponsor is supposed to be meeting me face to face, because their ID is the one that I can only accept. So they're supposed to be at the airport, but a lot of the times it does not happen. And these sponsors are supposedly family members. They can be an aunt or an uncle. They're supposedly a stepmother. They're supposedly a stepfather. They're supposedly a sister or a brother or a cousin. Sometimes they're even family friends. But it's like, how do you prove that this is a family friend? Or how do you prove this is a cousin when you don't even do DNA testing anymore at the border when it comes to the current administration? And how are you, so they...
Czyli rozumiem, wierzy te dzieci, że podają się za swoich wujków, ciotki, braci ciotecznych albo znajomi rodziny. No ale dobra, jeżeli tam ma te dzieci 5, 6, 8 miesięcy, to co one mają powiedzieć, że to jest ich wujek, czy ciotka, czy ktokolwiek?
These people are just calling up and saying, hey, yeah, that's my cousin, and that's it. I'm willing to take him in.
And you as an employee, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you thought you were reuniting families up until you didn't. Like, what was the moment you decided, wait a second, I need to blow the whistle on this. This is not what I thought it was.
So yes, you get into this type of work because you think you can make a difference. You know, you think it's these kids who are, and they have been through a lot, but you want to help them out and make them smile by buying them a snack at the airport, a toy at the airport, because children are innocent. You know, no matter what, children, they don't know what they're doing, and they should be kept out of issues that are tearing our country apart. So you try to make their day better. I started hearing horror stories from my coworkers. My coworkers used to tell me my child that I escorted was crying because they said that they did not know the sponsor that I was taking them to. And they were telling...
Czyli rozmawiał ze znajomymi, którzy też przewożą te dzieci i te dzieci się skarżą, że w ogóle tych ludzi nie znają. Czyli rozumiem, podsumowując to tak, że kartel albo gangi podrzucają te dzieci, ci kojoci przeprowadzają pod samą granicę, dają im namiary, jak właśnie do tego Walmartu tam mają dojść później, no i co? I państwo płaci za to wszystko, a żeby mieć czyste ręce, to wynajmuje inne firmy, żeby się tym zajmowały. Słuchajmy dalej.
Telling me, police, sir, I don't want to go to the sponsor. I don't know them. They at the campsite where I was, at the Walmart shelter where I was, they told me that I supposedly know the sponsor, that the sponsor is supposedly my uncle or my aunt, but I've never met him. I don't remember. And my coworker would say,
Czyli tak, ma być to wujek, ciotka, ale on tych ludzi nie zna. Ciekawe, no.
but I don't care. I still handed the child off, even though the child was crying, because I wanted to go out and party. And the reason why my coworker says that is because once we had the child off, we're allowed to go have our own thing. You know, if we're in Los Angeles and we hand the children off at the airport, we're allowed to go out into the city because our flight doesn't happen until the next day, our return flight. So the rest of the night we're free. And a lot of my coworkers were 18, 19 years old, 21 years old.
Czyli pracownikom zależy na tym, jak najszybciej pozbyć się tego dziecka, oddać temu sponsorowi, bo wracają do domu następnego dnia samolotem i jak tu widzimy, przedział tych pracowników jest między 18, 19, 21 lat. Czyli można powiedzieć, że dzieci wożą dzieci, ci pracownicy tak w ogóle nie zdają się sobie z tego sprawy, co robią, no ale z tego właśnie tutaj, co prowadzony jest wywiad przez Morrisa, Claytona Morrisa z tym chłopakiem, to on po prostu powiedział, że coś tu nie jest tak, dlatego udzielił tego wywiadu. Słuchajmy dalej.
Taking care of teenagers. And their main worry was, oh man, I want to go to the bar already. I want to go to a concert that's happening in downtown LA. But the sponsor is taking forever, or this child is crying, and I just want to hand them off. So they
Czyli jak najszybciej oddać, bo oni też chcą już wyjść, chcą mieć święty spokój, dziecko płacze, oni chcą iść się zabawić, iść na koncert, iść gdzieś, nie wiem, do baru.
would hand the children off, even though they were showing signs of, I don't know the sponsor.
And it's all happening right in front of our eyes, and the United States government is funding it. So these facilities, they're making their money from the United States government. And so if you drive up to this, like one of these Walmart facilities, you'll be met with guards at the gate, right? I mean, guards that are telling you, you know, you're not allowed to come in here.
To jest właśnie jeden z tych obiektów. Oni tutaj pokazują, nie można tam wchodzić, nie można filmować. Z tego, co on tu mówi, ale tutaj mają parę zdjęć, kawałek filmu.
And how many kids are we talking about are at these facilities, like this, you know, these former Walmart facilities? Are we talking hundreds, thousands?
Well, the Walmart that was shared on your show, I think you guys shared it,
Yeah.
or you guys talked about it. That's about 1,500 to 2,000 kids, but that's not the only Walmart down here where I live. We have about 4 or 5 of them.
Czyli tych placówek jest więcej, około 4-5 placówek, tylko nie wiem w jakiej odległościach, czy to jest w jednym stanie, ale jest to chyba w jednym stanie i mniej więcej od 1,5 do 2 tysięcy dzieci znajduje się w jednym Walmarcie.
Former Walmarts, right? So these are giant facilities, former Walmarts that are housing these children. Are they like sleeping in cots and beds, and they're just there waiting to be? Is it right for me to say sold off to these people around the country? I mean, that's the best way to describe it, right?
It's the best way to describe it. You're right to say that, because just the way the company admitted in an email to, hey, transportation specialist, you're taking the wrong documents and you're giving kids off to the wrong people. It's an open world of possibilities of what's happening, you know? And God bless Michael and Ann, because Michael and another gentleman by Ryan Matter from Live Free America TV and Mutracker.com. These are just some independent journalists who've come down here and have been exposing this whole thing. And when they came down here, they were met with aggressiveness. They were met with, we're going to call the police. You can't be here. You can't take pictures. And they have signs like it says media tour. You can request a media tour. But when Michael and Ryan and Ann would request a media tour, they were met with, oh, you have to go on the website. It's not available right now. Go on the website. It's just, if you have nothing to hide, why are you being so aggressive? You know, it's so easy to let a reporter in there walk around and then leave, you know, and if it's a good operation, why not do that, you know? And you're met with so much opposition, so much aggressiveness at the front gate.
Czyli mówi o tym, że jak ktoś chce tam pojechać, zobaczyć co tam się dzieje, to jest strasznie, ci ludzie są strasznie agresywni, nie chcą nic pokazywać, nie chcą o niczym mówić, czyli jak nie masz nic do ukrycia, no to wchodzę, wychodzę i wszystko widzę, co się dzieje, czyli jest coś na rzeczy, jeżeli zachowują się w ten sposób, że są agresywni, że nie chcą o tym rozmawiać, nie chcą nic pokazywać.
That you can't even go into the parking lot for these facilities, these former Walmart facilities.
Thousands of children being kept in these concentration camps in the United States, funded by the federal government, and then children shipped off to quote-unquote sponsors, never to be seen again or heard from again. No confirmation, DNA testing to prove that these people have any connection with the person that they're taking. We've had multiple sources here on our show who say these children are being sold off as sex slaves, being used in sweatshops as slaves, as physical labor slaves, and the most horrible thing of all, which is organ harvesting. And we've heard this multiple times from...
Czyli tak, dzieci są wykorzystywane do pracy i do pobierania narządów seksualnie i nie ma jakiegokolwiek potwierdzenia, co się z nimi dzieje, czyli jak są zawiezione tam i oddane do tych sponsorów, oni nie muszą ani zgłaszać, jeżeli będzie zapytanie, co się z tym dzieckiem dzieje, nie muszą odpowiadać na to pytanie, nikt się o nich nie pyta, także nikogo to nie interesuje. Ciekawe też.
Multiple sources that this is happening in a large capacity in the United States. It's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and no one's doing anything about it. But you are, for coming forward and sharing your story, Carlos. It's just heartbreaking. We hope that our audience shares this story, calls a local representative, tries to get you into Washington, D.C. to tell your story in front of a congressional hearing. We will do whatever we can here at Redacted to make that happen. And please, anything else we can do, don't be a stranger. Please let us know. Okay, Carlos?
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. It's been a tough road, but thankfully people like Savannah Hernandez, who gave me my first interview, and along the road I've run into people like you, Michael, and Ryan from LFA TV. There's good people still out there trying, so thank you for allowing me to come on your platform and speak on this.
My pleasure, and thank you for your bravery on this. Thank you, Carlos. We appreciate it.
Mhm.
Czyli co? Widzicie, co się dzieje? Z tego, co oni tu mówią, to nie tylko dzieje się w Stanach Zjednoczonych, ale na całym świecie. Napiszcie, co o tym myślicie. Będę pracował dalej i szukał jakichś informacji. Na razie pozdrawiam. Życzę miłego weekendu.